Welcome back, everybody. So this is part 2 of my audio stories playlist collection thing, whatever you want to call it. It's very quiet and quite a nice night, and I decided that instead of doing anything productive, we're just going to binge watch Avatar: The Last Airbender and do this. So yeah, never mind the fact I've got an assignment due in a day and a half. But yeah, here we are. So the story I'm going to read out tonight is called Death Walked With Me. I wrote it a little while ago, and I'll give a little bit more context and backstory behind it after this, or I might even do a separate series dissecting them a little bit. That's an idea. Alright, enough of that. So, this is Death Walked With Me. They walked side by side down the dirt road. Open grasslands of either side spread out to the horizon, and in front, mountains loomed. He walked slowly, hands clasped loosely behind his back, and it walked beside him. He calls it because, well, didn't have a face. Not one he could see anyway, or a scarf over its head obscuring it. Whenever he tried to look at it, it was as if the shadows weren't affected by the sunlight beaming from above. He wasn't sure how he'd come to be here, on this road. The last thing he remembered was climbing a rock face with some friends. He remembered hearing one of them shout, and then he was here. It hadn't said anything. He tried to get it to talk, but it just didn't reply, kept his face downcast and continued to walk. He didn't know how long it had been, but yet after again trying to get it to speak, he'd had enough of walking, so he stopped. It kept going for a while, seeming not to notice. He called out to it again. "Where are we going?" It took a few more steps before stopping and half turning to face him. Nowhere in particular. Not yet. It turned away from him before continuing. "But for now we will walk." Its voice wasn't anything like he had expected it to be. It wasn't particularly masculine or feminine. It was a voice without anything that made it identifiable or unique. It's like a blend of every voice he had ever heard, all coming together at once. He jogged to catch up. It didn't change its pace, it just kept walking forward. So, where are we right now? Looking around, he took in the landscape. The grasslands went out as far as he could see, only broken up by the occasional twisted bush. In front of them were those mountains, solid grey stone rising high into the sky. They stood like sentinels guarding a path to somewhere. We're in between. In between what? Your life and the next. It cast its gaze at him, as if waiting for a response. When he said nothing, it kept going. "You don't seem bothered by this. Are you not afraid of death?" He didn't say anything in response to this. He was thinking about what had happened before he came here, about his life. He was only young, not even an adult yet, but yet here he was. It was wrong, but he guessed it was meant to be. He knew that something would happen soon that would force him to forget it all. He was trying hard to hold on to it for now. Hold on to those memories before they slipped away into oblivion. So is that what this is? This is death. He didn't ask it. He already knew that it was. It took him a moment to respond. Yes, I suppose you could call it that. But death is so final. Your kind has no idea of what exists beyond it. And I know you have some ideas, but even those involving something else after you die don't come close. They're still too final. So what is death if it's not final? Death is this. It's a road. They'd been walking for a long time, but the mountains didn't seem to come any closer. If it's a road, it must end somewhere. He turned to look at it, but it didn't return his gaze. Where does it end? It stopped at the question. The shadows around his face seemed to be lighter now. You could see some details of his face. The bridge and tip of a nose, some of the brow. The road ends when you want it. All of this, it raised its arms and gestured at everything around them. It exists because you haven't stopped it yet. The problem is I don't know what's on the other side. I'm scared of it, I guess. There's nothing to be afraid of. Like I said, death isn't final and neither are you. You as you exist right now may not be around anymore, but you'll carry on somehow. You forget what we're all made of. And what is that? We're made of everything. When the road ends and you start again, you'll be made of something new. Another person, a tree, a piece of stardust halfway across the universe, it doesn't matter. We'll start over someplace, sometime. Started walking again. Head held high. You could see more features. The mouth, full nose leading to the brow bone, the shadowy pits where its eyes must be. So what are you then? It was the first time he'd asked anything personal about it. He wasn't sure how to respond. Who, me? I'm nothing really, just a companion. Someone to explain what's happening. He posed for a moment before adding, "Oh, and someone to walk with you so you don't have to do it alone. Because as painful as death can be sometimes, it shouldn't have to be painful or lonely. I'm merely just a brief stage in your cosmic life." Turned to look at him. He could see its mouth now, and it was smiling. Its face was almost fully visible, but its eyes were still in shadow, little more than dark craters on the surface of its face. Then suddenly, the mountains were there. I was standing at the base of a set of cliffs, a dark, smooth grey that rose up high into the sky. Set into the cliffs were two tall, narrow doors. They were closed, but he could see light coming through the gap in the middle. He knew he would be going through them soon. Is this it? The end of the road? It nodded gently. What's on the other side? I looked up at the face of the door, taking it in. That's not for me to know. I never leave this place. This is my home. Whatever exists outside of it is not for me. It sounds kind of lonely. It does, doesn't it, eh? I said, chuckling softly. But people are dying all the time, so I'm never alone for long. We both stood there looking at the doors and the cliffs. Neither of them wanted to say anything. Not that there was much left to be said. After a while, the doors they began to open. Soundlessly, the massive slabs of stone swung inwards on invisible hinges. They opened to a long passageway, at the end of which white light shone. He closed his eyes, playing the pictures of his life one last time. Eyes still closed, he stepped through the doorway. It was completely silent in the passage. He wanted to turn around and look at the figure one last time, but he didn't want to lose the memories too soon. So he kept walking. He was thinking about his 16th birthday. It was only a few weeks ago, but it seems like a lifetime ago. Remember trips to the beach with friends, movie nights with family. Remember the holiday to... He couldn't remember where. It was getting fuzzy. The memories were slowly turning to white. He tried to remember his parents. What were their names again? Wait, whose name am I trying to remember? The light was getting brighter and brighter until there was nothing else. They were gone, and so was he. So yeah, that's my story, Death Walked With Me. I wrote that about a year ago, and I sort of based it off this time that I fell down a cliff and nearly died myself. So it's a personal one to me, and I hope you enjoyed. I've got a whole bunch of stories posted on a little blog that I run, and I'll leave a link in the description below, so if you want to go check those out, and if there's any on there that you like and you want me to read in particular, comment it below and I'll get onto it. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, and thanks for listening.